Daily Podcast. All right, part 2 of I'm trying to hire an agency and I don't know how. So first of all, like, subscribe, drop us questions. We answer them. That's what we're here for. So part 2 of how do I hire an agency? What do I ask them? How do I know if they're good or not? Cross-channel traffic. So what is it? Why does it matter? You want to hit them with a couple questions here. If you're hiring an ads agency or somebody that's looking to get you like a very specific result, you want to ask, what traffic channels do you work with and what strategies are involved in running multi-channel advertising, right? If you are a company that's big enough to be running more than one channel, which most of you will be, and it makes sense to, you want to ask this question. Now, this is a bit of a loaded question, and you should ask it just like that. Like, you shouldn't give them more nuance behind it or anything like that. And here's why. If they've worked with people, other companies in a similar industry as yours, they should know the answer to these things. Yes, every company is different. Yes, there's different nuance, and the value proposition of every company is a little bit different from each other, even in the same industry or space. However, the channels that you need to use to gain attention are often very similar, and there isn't a lot of variation. There is variation, just not a lot of it. So it's a loaded question because it assumes that they understand the differences between industries, specifically yours. So any answer that they give you that's generic or it depends doesn't really fit. They have to understand, based on the fact that we're this type of industry, what do you guys think? And that's maybe like the second question you ask, because you should ask the first question without tipping them off that the answer includes considerations for your industry, right? So what you're really looking for is what is the blend of channels to get the most efficient ROI out of the entire buying journey, right? So your type of customer is going to have a very specific buying journey. How does that match up with the different channels that they can use? Are they using certain channels at the top, middle, bottom? And what channels are they using at each stage? Like, we want to figure out like what they're thinking is behind that. And not just what channels, but why. Like, why are you using Facebook at the top or maybe Google at the top? Why are you using this in the middle? Why are you using these types of content? Why are you using this? We want to understand if the agency understands this. Like, why are you going to use these things? Then, because like at the end of the day, there's certain industries, like certain platforms are not going to work for your industry. You can run experimental things, and we always encourage experimentation because, for example, there's been some industries we work with where TikTok works really well or something like that, but you wouldn't think so. But that's part of an experimental budget that I believe all companies should have. But generally, you're going to know what works and what doesn't if you have experience with a specific field. So really, this is very contextual to that, and you want to understand how they're going to drive ROI for you at the very end of the day.
Yeah, exactly. And the next question we have is, how do you measure success across the different channels? The question that, or the answer that you're not looking for is for somebody to come to you and it's attribution. It's as simple as attribution, because honestly, attribution, it has its uses, but it does not solve this problem. You need to be looking at the holistic buyer's journey, and you need to be looking at how are we moving people through that journey. Now, for each of the different channels, you should be tracking KPIs that are important to that channel, and you should be finding a way to bring all of that data together into a single source, and you should have your dedicated KPI source of truth for each one of those channels, and bring that all into a combined holistic view. And if you're basically just looking to add like an attribution model, it's great for a kind of like a thought experiment to try and come up with some new ideas of what might be happening. But attribution does not give you a perfect view of how the channels are working together.
Absolutely. It goes back to the whole idea of some channels are used to generate attention, while other and brand. So it's, hey, here's our brand experience or brand. This is what we're about, while others are there to get the sale. So really diving into that user buyer journey and like reverse engineering it is really what's needed in order to understand if they understand who you are and what your business needs are. Again, this is episode number 2 of What Questions Should I Ask an Agency If I Want to Hire Them series. We're going to be back with part 3 on the next one. Thanks again.